welcome back to my channel. Today I will be sharing a recipe for fried bakes stuffed with corned beef. If you like bakes and you like corned beef, you will definitely love this one. So to get started, we'll start by making our dough first. Here I have some all-purpose flour. I'll be using some butter flavored shortening. You could also use butter here if you like. And I have yeast, baking powder, salt, and sugar. So to begin, you want to add your shortening to that flour and just work it in by hand. Once it's well combined, we'll go ahead and start adding the sugar, salt, baking powder, and yeast. Now, if you're using the yeast that's not activated, if it's not fast rise yeast, you will need to activate it first by adding it to some warm water, and you can add the sugar also into that water. Activate it first. Once it becomes nice and foamy, then you add it to the flour. Now we will add our water here a little at a time until we form a nice soft dough. Once the dough is formed, we'll lay it onto our countertop and we will knead it for about 5 minutes. Once it's nice and smooth, it doesn't have to be super smooth, but once it comes together perfectly, we will place it into our mixing bowl, cover and allow it to rise for about 45 minutes. So while our bakes are rising, we'll go ahead and make the corned beef. So here I have some onions, bell peppers. I have green onions and parsley. I'll be using some garlic. For the seasonings, I have black pepper, mushroom seasoning, garlic and onion powder, and some complete seasoning. I will be using some tomato paste and the star of the show, Grace corned beef. You can use whatever corned beef you'd like here. To a preheated skillet, I did add a bit of oil, and now I'll go in with the onions, bell peppers, the garlic, as well as the green onions and parsley. We'll give it a good mix and allow it to go for about 3 to 4 minutes. Next, you want to go in with about 1 tablespoon of that tomato paste. I like adding the tomato paste because it adds a nice bright rich color to the corned beef, because as you know, cooking corned beef on its own, it has a very dull color, so I like to brighten it up with the tomato paste. We will allow it to go for about 2 minutes before adding the corned beef. So at this point, you want to now add your corned beef and just break it apart until it's fully dissolved and well combined. Then we'll add the seasonings. Now, please be mindful that when you're adding seasoning, make sure that your seasoning does not contain a lot of sodium, because as you know, corned beef already has salt in it and you don't want to make it salty. The seasonings I'm using, they're very low in sodium, like the complete seasoning and mushroom seasoning. Basically, they're for flavor and they don't have a lot of sodium in them, so they're perfect for this. We'll mix the combine, give it about 5 minutes on low heat, and then we'll be ready to assemble our bakes and corned beef. Lastly, you want to add some fresh parsley, and that's it, guys. You want to allow this to cool down thoroughly before we move on with the next step. So here's my dough. It has doubled in size. What we'll do next is remove it from the bowl and release the air from inside. Then we'll go ahead and cut it into our desired sizes. Whatever size you like your bakes in, whether big or small, cut it to suit your own liking. And then we'll go ahead and form them into some little dough balls. Once all the balls are formed, we'll move on with the next step. Next, you want to take one of your dough balls and roll it out into a flat disc. Then we'll place some of our corned beef filling right in the middle. You want to add a generous amount, but not too much to where it can burst in the oil. So be mindful of that. Once we're done, you want to pinch all of the edges together until your dough is sealed. And then we will carry on with the same process until we are all done. So once all of your dough balls are filled, you want to flatten them out just a little bit so that they're not as thick. You don't want to fry them as they are like that. You want to flatten it out just a little bit. You could even press it down with your hands. You don't have to use the rolling pin. And once all of them are flattened nicely, we will head over to the stove and start frying. And if your dough is sticky, you can always add some flour to your surface to prevent the sticking. My dough was not sticky, so that's why I'm not using any flour. So in my preheated oil, I do have my oil on low heat. It's about, let's say, 290 to 300 degrees right now. So you want to keep it on low because you don't want these to burn and you want them to cook all the way through. You don't want them to be raw in the middle and burn on the outside. So you want to keep your heat on medium low, and it will take a while to brown up. It will not brown up fast, but it will cook perfectly on the inside. And you want to scoop some oil over top so that helps it inflate fast. Once it becomes nice and brown on one side and it's inflated nicely, you want to give it a flip and allow it to cook evenly on the other side. Once it's golden brown on both sides, you want to remove it and carry on with that same process. Now you can fry more than one bakes at a time, but do not overcrowd your pot. And here you have it, fried bakes stuffed with corned beef. If you're a bake fan and a corned beef fan, you will definitely enjoy this. It was perfectly cooked. It was the right texture, crispy on the outside, and when you bite in, nice and soft, and that filling was flavorful, delicious, and just heaven in my mouth. I really do hope you guys give this recipe a try. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button for me. I will be leaving all my ingredients and measurements down in the description box, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a good day and enjoy!